Well, allegations are surfacing of abuses at the Jackson County Jail. It's an issue that's being investigated by the American Civil Liberties Union.
That's right. NBC5's Ann McCloy has been investigating the jail for the last month. She joins us now with more. Ann.
Laura, Dan, we've uncovered several claims alleging inmates have been severely abused in jail, all while awaiting trial.
He'd never been convicted of a crime, but in 2006, David Quick went to jail, accused of beating up his landlord.
He made up this thing that I threatened him.
Quick is a disabled veteran, walks with a cane, suffers from emphysema.
The guy comes across the room and just shoves me. He said, "I said move."
He says jail deputies beat him up twice.
This guy comes running across the room and kicks me just like a football.
Quick was diagnosed with broken ribs and a punctured lung. The criminal charges against him were later dropped. He filed a lawsuit against the jail and won a small, undisclosed settlement. The American Civil Liberties Union is investigating.
There are definitely problems at the jail.
The ACLU interviewed hundreds of inmates.
The jail is extremely secret. It does not want to let the public know what's going on there.
We asked the county counsel's office for any cases involving allegations of inmate abuse. They would not supply the records and refused an interview.
We went to the federal courthouse to find out what cases had been filed against the Jackson County Jail. We found several.
The first dates back to 1996. After 10 days in jail, this man, Jeffrey Anderson, was rushed to the hospital. He later died.
He was harassed and annoyed and brutalized while he was in the chair. I believe he was also hit.
He was in a restraint chair for 10 hours and had no contact with other inmates.
You could see the 2 points, thumb and some kind of a finger right there, just right like that.
A jury awarded Anderson's family a $3.1 million judgment against Jackson County. Due to legal challenges, the family settled for $1.8 million. No one was ever charged with his death.
They tried to downplay the fact that the jury had actually returned a verdict finding liability.
In 2007, Everett Comfort was arrested at Lithia Park. According to his federal lawsuit, inside the jail, he was put in restraints. It says jailers came into cell and beat plaintiff. Comfort came out of jail with a fracture to the 10th through 12th ribs. Comfort won a settlement from the Jackson County Jail. The amount was not disclosed.
We don't talk about settlements.
Another case neither Sheriff Winters nor his counsel will discuss is that of Dennis Hooper, who is categorized as a catastrophically disabled veteran. Hooper was arrested for domestic battery at his Rogue River apartment in January 2009, a charge later dismissed. His lawsuit filed in federal court claims Hooper, who uses a wheelchair and is dependent on a catheter, was denied medications and urinated himself several times. It says Hooper was relocated to a separation cell due to overcrowding at the jail. Hooper's new cell had no light initially or other handicap access. Hooper's case is still open. Parties have not reached a settlement. Then there's this open case. Timothy Wayne King, arrested for drunk driving in 2009. While in custody, his lawsuit says one deputy fractured King's right ulnar. When he asked for help, the lawsuit reads officers laughed and told him to shut up. It says King's injuries are permanent. And another case, this time involving a current inmate, Charlene Manksner, awaiting trial on charges of murdering a former Medford police officer.
We don't know what's happening.
Manksner's mom, Nancy Wilson, says her daughter, a former paramedic, nearly died in jail from a condition which causes her body to swell.
She broke out in hives all over and was starting to swell, and she was put in isolation. They just kind of shut the door and said, well, the doctor will be by tomorrow.
Though Sheriff Mike Winters did not want to discuss specifics on most cases of Manksner, he said.
We have rules on the inside, and Miss Manksner apparently doesn't like to follow those rules.
Sheriff Winters says he isn't a stranger to these types of allegations. He says settling a case often saves the county money by avoiding a trial, and he says it's not an admission of guilt. Winters says deputies must instill order and control.
The facility is operated within accordance with state law. The policies are followed. and there's no other issues that we're going to really discuss.
Jail deputies are extremely outnumbered. The jail has under 10 deputies and more than 200 inmates at any given time. Despite the odds against deputies, disabled veteran David Quick says there is no excuse for the beating or the culture he says he experienced in the jail.
I couldn't believe they kicked me and did that. I wasn't doing anything. And they said I was faking it, that I was disabled. But I'm not. And, it was a big joke to them.
But it's no joke to Quick, at least 5 other inmates, or the American Civil Liberties Union, which plans to release a full report on their findings of the Jackson County Jail this year.
The investigation isn't over. NBC5 will follow up on this story. We filed a Freedom of Information request of all records pertaining to court cases and settlements against the Jackson County Jail. We asked for these records before and were denied, but we'll keep trying. We've dedicated a page on our website to this investigation. You can read the full case reports related to the story on KOBI5.com.